Hello, friends. Biblically Accurate Worm here today to talk about the Starfire Protocol nerf, because a lot of players are really unhappy about it, and rightfully so. Bungie basically killed, buried, dug up, and reburied under the ocean the Starfire Protocol exotic. It is absolutely terrible now. It still has, I guess, some viability, about that much viability, right? But yeah, I wanted to talk about it today and tell y'all that this is nothing new. I don't know why everybody's acting surprised. Okay. This is classic Bungie for you here. Anytime a exotic piece of gear, a weapon or armor, whatever it is powerful, extremely powerful, not just powerful, extremely powerful, they knee-jerk nerf it into oblivion, and it is almost never seen again. Now, yes, there are varying degrees. For example, Heart of Inmost Light was nerfed. It was a pretty harsh nerf. Like, it dropped down in usage substantially, but of course, we can still see some value here and there for it. But Starfire Protocol was like literally buried under the coffin. it was hit pretty hard here. Basically, the change they made to it, again, I don't have patch notes pulled up here, but if I'm not mistaken, they change it so that you get like 2.5% grenade energy back when you deal damage with X whatever while you're standing in an empowering rift. It used to be 20. So you shoot Wither Horde, of course, the old combo: Wither Horde, grenade, Wither Horde, grenade, and spam that. You can't do that anymore because it's substantially been nerfed down. Now, let me make this clear. I never really used Starfire Protocol last season or the season before that or the season before that. I just never cared to. I always liked doing other builds. I don't want to say I always use Stasis Warlock, I'll say that, in PvE content. Never really used Solar Warlock in PvE content. Even in Grandmasters, I like Stasis more. But this nerf, again, players are so surprised. They're saying, oh, like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? This isn't anything new. Now, yeah, I wonder myself why on earth Bungie would nerf it so hard to where it's basically unviable at this point, because that's what it is. It's almost not even viable anymore. But the reality of it is, this is something that we have to deal with as Destiny players. When an exotic is very good, it's gonna take a massive nerf at some point. A massive nerf that's going to hamper its ability almost, by like 100%, right? Like, I would say Starfire is working. I mean, technically it's working at like 10 point something percent of its former value. So they did technically nerf it like 90, like 85 to 90%, which is insane. But yeah, players are freaking out about it. It sucks, but it's not unexpected. Like, we knew this. Bungie even told us before the season launched that they were nerfing it, and they told us exactly how they were nerfing it. And players still, like, they didn't. I guess they didn't predict it, or maybe players just didn't realize how much of a nerf it actually was. As somebody who didn't main Starfire Protocol, I think we talked about it briefly in a video a long time ago, that this is a massive nerf. This is going to basically eliminate it from the meta, and it did. And players are all over the forums. I got the forums pulled up over here. In fact, I could probably share it with y'all real quick. Players are on the forums complaining and whining that, oh, like, it's nerfed this, it's BS, blah blah blah. But again, it's expected. It is expected. Let's see here. There's one right up here. Was complete overkill. Like, I don't know. And then people under here, power fantasy dies a little bit more. Power fantasy is important in Destiny 2, but let's be honest, Starfire Protocol was like the only build you could use in previous seasons because it was so good. Like, if you're using anything but Starfire, you're literally hurting yourself, right? You're hurting you're hurting yourself to not use Starfire because it was so good. And I think that the nerf that it got, of course, was warranted. Now, to the degree that it was, I don't really know. Like I said, I haven't tested it out or anything like that. I think maybe 2.5%, probably a bit much. They probably could have done 5% or something like that. Would have been a little bit better without absolutely destroying the exotic. But hey, you know what? Bungie's gonna do Bungie things. It's nothing new. You know, it's nothing new. Other nerfs, of course, that I've seen people talking about on the forums as well as on Reddits, because Reddit is one of my favorite places to go to see people complaining about blah, blah, blah. Ophidian Aspect, sorry, I couldn't think of the name. Ophidian Aspect no longer gives that melee range. You know, Warlocks are very, very upset about that. I would say kind of rightfully so. Like, if you mained a fitting aspect and you're used to meleeing at that, you know, I think it was 6.5 meter range, and all of a sudden now you don't have 6.5 meters of range, like, yeah, it's not gonna feel good. But at the same time, like, Titans are having to suffer through that right now. We were just doing Titan in the Crucible the other day, and I was spamming melee, and of course what normally would have hit in the past now doesn't, you know. So I'm still trying to get used to it, still trying to acclimate to the shoulder charge change. But again, like, I still think that these changes were warranted. You know, the shoulder charge nerf was important. It needed to happen. It was bound to happen at some point. Bungie finally did it. I don't know. I just don't see many people complaining about it. It's mostly, you know, and it's funny. I don't know what it is with Warlocks. Not saying anything about Warlocks in particular, but Warlocks seem to complain the most on various forums and stuff like that. Like, I don't see any Titans complaining about Dune Marchers. Like, I'm going through, I'm on page like 5 or 6 or something like that. I'll tell you when I get to the bottom, but I haven't seen anything talking about, you know, Dune Marchers getting nerfed, or what was one of the Hunter exotics that got nerfed? Stompies getting nerfed, which Stompies is a little bit different. Stompies, you know, could have been, it can be seen as a buff, it can be seen as a nerf, both at the same time. So maybe that's why we're not seeing it. But yeah, and I think one of the reasons why players, of course, are complaining so much about the Starfire protocol nerf is because it gets hit. Players have been using it for literally, like, I think it's been like where it is for more than a year. Or I'm sorry, not where it is, it's been where it is for a long time now, but players had only started realizing recently how good it was in the past about year or so. So players, of course, using the same build for a year, which I don't know how you do it. That sounds boring as heck to me. But players have been using the same build for a year. Then Bungie nerfs it, and then, of course, now that Bungie nerfs it, now they want to give us an ornament. Players have been asking for a Starfire ornament forever. Now that's got a major nerf. It's almost like insult to injury. It's like, hey, here's your ornament for Starfire, and now it's all nerfed and whatnot. Ha ha ha. You know, we got the exotic boot, or not the exotic, I'm sorry, the legendary boot ornaments to go with Starfire last season as well, which does not at all match the ornament. So yeah, I don't know. I think the players are just kind of, you know, venting, needing a reason to vent, blah blah blah, whatever. But I think that it's just classic Bungie, you know, with the whole over nerfing it or whatever players are saying, you know, oh, it's been over nerfed, it's been over nerfed, butchered, whatever they want to call it. It's nothing new. Like, I don't know why people act surprised every single time this happens. Every single time a major power player, exotic weapon or armor piece gets nerfed, players freak out, like, oh my god, it's unusable. Like, it's routine now. It's, you know, it's, what did you expect? They were gonna touch it perfectly? No. Literally, I cannot think of the last time an exotic that needed a nerf got a nerf. Or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say just any exotic. A major, like, meta option for an exotic got a nerf that was not, you know, too much. You know, look at yeah, you could make an argument. Okay, maybe Lorelei Splendor. You know, when it first launched, it was, what was it? Anytime you, goodness, what did it do when it initially launched? For a week, it had a totally different function. I can't remember what it was. It was like when you were standing in or when you got critically wounded, when you're critically wounded, it would make a sunspot at your location or something like that. And then they changed it so that it would, oh yeah. It was anytime you were critically wounded, it would make a sunspot wherever you were, right? Well, then Bungie changed it so that now whenever your shield is, or whenever your shield's broken, it would make a sunspot. It would also consume your barricade, but they also allowed you to place a barricade and make a sunspot, which was almost a buff in my eyes. It was like a nerf slash buff. But yeah, that's the last thing I can think of that, you know, was a truly meta choice that wasn't over nerfed. I don't know, man. It's just, I think that people need to get over it. And I know it sucks. It sucks so much when good stuff is nerfed into the ground. And it sucks even more when Bungie adds that insult to injury when they, okay, you know, here's your exotic ornament that you've been asking for forever. I don't know. That's kind of just what I want to talk about. I wanted to, I guess, you know, whatever, man. That's it for this video. Like if you enjoyed it. Tell me your thoughts on it in the comments. Like, obviously, players are upset about it. You have every right to be upset about it. I think that, you know, players venting on the forums and stuff, talking about how it's useless. Like, we knew it was useless when they announced what they were doing, and we knew that it was going to get nerfed into the ground. You know, if you sit here and say, oh, I didn't know it was going to be nerfed this hard, number one, you are either a really new player, which is totally okay, or number two, you didn't read the patch notes, or no, I'm sorry, the preview of the patch notes when they came out, because yeah, we've known it was about to take a major hit for a long time, and Bungie did it. Now we're dealing with it. Now players are complaining about it, blah, 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 nothing new. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content. And of course, do me a favor, watch the video you see on the end screen now, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy it. Enjoy me shooting those little things down there on Eternity too. That's it for me. I'll see y'all in the next one, guys. Bye for now.